What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Lock, and joining me as he does for every episode is Luis Barranco. Game one of the World Series is in the books, and boy, oh boy, have the Blue Jays flipped the script completely. Luis, how's it going?
I mean, what a game. I mean, it is 12, I thought it would be 12 p.m., and it's 11:41 Eastern Standard Time. We are live and direct. Game one of the World Series is complete. I mean, lots of takeaways, lots of things to talk about. It's been a long day at the office for both of us, but I mean, let's just get right down to business. I mean, the Blue Jays take game one at home, 11-4. I mean, where do we start? Do we just got to start with the sixth inning with nine runs? Like, what a inning, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, story of the game was obviously the sixth inning. Let's start in the beginning because I do think there is some interesting storylines there, and maybe some of the performances we got from the starting pitchers could have changed the way this game had gone. And I really want to talk about Trey Savage, who did not have his A stuff today. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, 80 pitches through 4. He got pulled ahead of going to the top of the order for the third time, his third at bat against Otani. And the Dodgers got to him early. He had that 1-2-3 first, but his stuff was not fully there. He wasn't locating the splitter, the fastball wasn't locating that as well. The slider really was not moving that much. And we saw playoff Kike Hernandez had that RBI single in the second inning to make it 1-0 Dodgers. Savage was going to that slider a lot, not going to the splitter. The point, though, that I want to make is the Blue Jays and Savage did a really good job limiting it to only 2-0, where it could have been worse. I mean, the Dodgers, they had the bases loaded with 1 out, and they got out of it with the it was the pop up, or the Pajes got out and then someone else got out. But I thought the damage could have been much worse early against Savage than it was.
Well, do I need to say what you said over text? Let's rip out the text messages that we got, in-game text messages from our host, Mr. William Locke. Let's read what he said, guys. He literally says, "Guy clearly doesn't have it," and I'm like, he was all right. Like, you got to give him credit for getting across 2 times over the order and only allowing 2 runs to the lineup that is the LA Dodgers. Not many pitchers in the majors can do that. I mean, the fastball command was all over the place. He has a really weird slider, which to me isn't a slider. It, like you and me referenced, that it works into righties, and it just doesn't break left horizontally. It's more like it's breaking up and down. And he has the splitter, so you have to give credit to Savage for getting through those 2 across the order. I think the biggest thing is, the biggest thing going around is the Blue Jays defense. I mean, Bo Bichette made a huge play in the second and at second base to get that out. I mean, you have to give credit to that.
Yeah, Bo Bichette, first game since like mid-September, I think it was, against the Yankees, where he hurt his knee, came in, started at second base. That was a big storyline in this one, and for the World Series in general, was, is he going to be active? Is he going to be playing? Seems like he worked out on Thursday, felt good enough to play. IKF did come in to pinch run for him, and I think that was the 6th inning. So he didn't play the full 9, but he did, have a nice defensive play. And in the second, it was when the Dodgers loaded the bases. With the bottom of the lineup, but Pajes struck out on probably the best slider Savage had thrown up to that point, and then he got Otani to ground out. I think that was a huge turning point in this game, because it was. Because they could have blown, 2, 3, 4 runs at that point.
They could have blown it open, but I think there's 2 things we got to talk about with that. I think one thing was the Dodgers were really forcing Savage to pitch in the zone. I mean, the Dodgers really, like you could see top to bottom, and I mean, you can say the same for the Blue Jays. Just plate discipline was to both teams was elite, forcing the pitchers to throw really good pitches and force them to attack the zone. I mean, that Andy Pajes, like you said, that at bat of him, going down in the zone off that slider was really tough, and he really just that changed the turning point. And then you also have to give credit for John Schneider giving Bo Bichette the nod at second base. First game back, putting him right in the cleanup order. As a player, I think you have to enjoy that. To be honest, I mean, having the utmost confidence from your manager, coming out of the gate and just placing you right through the fire.
A lot of pressure on him. Yeah, I thought he played well. Had some good at bats. Had that his first at bat back. He got that little like dribbler single through the right field side. Finished the game 1 for 2 with a walk. So yeah, he played well. Obviously, I think he'll be in the starting lineup tomorrow. The Blue Jays went with their lineup for lefties. So Schneider got the start. Barger ended up pinch hitting. Miles Straw got the start, and then Lucas came in to pinch hit later. So that was expected. But the point I was making really starting early in the game was just that Savage didn't necessarily have his A stuff. And, Smoltz was talking about how just pitching from that high arm angle, a lot of times, it can become hard to locate. But for a dude that was, started the season in A ball, was playing college baseball last year for ECU, to be starting game 1 in the World Series, pitching against Otani, Betts, Freeman, all those guys. They showed his parents in the crowd. It was, had to be a really cool moment for him. And you could tell he was probably a little bit nervous.
He was a little amped up on that first pitch. I was like, if I was a betting man, especially these days with the news, I would have definitely thrown a bet on a ball first pitch, especially to Otani. They weren't going to give him something, cakey for him just to swing at. But I think the biggest point we got to talk about in this game, in my opinion, has to be that inning in the bottom of the third. I mean, David Schneider struck out. He got ahead on Vladimir Guerrero. Vladimir Guerrero ended up getting a single, and then you get that double play. You come back out. He gets ahead of Alejandro Kirk, but he ends up working that at-bat. Next thing you know, boom, Dalton Varsho hits a 2-run homer. I think the turning point was when Vladimir Guerrero was able to work the count on Blake Snell and get back in it. And that's like from right then and on, you saw a whole different mindset from the Blue Jays hitters. Those Blue Jays hitters came to the plate after that first time of the order into full attack mode. You could tell by the way they were approaching ABs. And, I think the MVP today has to be Alejandro Kirk. I think his at-bats really go understated in how he was working at-bats and making Blake Snell work and fouling off pitches. And he, as we've known who the type of player he is, he's a tough cookie to get out. The amount of pitches he was drawing off of him, set up, boom, Dalton Varsho, first pitch, takes some yard. And from then on, I mean, you go to that 5th inning, you get George Springer gets on first, double play, ground out, but then it just set up the 6th inning. I just think that's like the turning point. Like after that point when Vladimir Guerrero got back into the count, got the single, sets up the catalyst for the rest of the game. It was just a point where Blake Snell was settling into who he was, and I was like, it could be a long day. And I mean, the fastball was starting to work because the changeup was there the whole night. He wasn't really using the curveball that much. The changeup was his main weapon of attack, and he was dotting up the changeup, and he was starting to get that fastball working. But after that single, it just started to snowball a little bit.
Yeah, 29 pitches in the first. He clearly did not have his A stuff. I was a little worried, if I was a Jays fan, which I'm not, but, bases loaded in the first, you make him throw 29 pitches, but you don't get any runs. And then the next inning, the Dodgers go out and make it 1-0.
But what did I tell you over text? Go pull out the cell phone. Pull your cell phone out right now. Please show your cell phone on podcast right now. Please.
I have the text on my computer.
Oh, he wants to be cool and do it on the computer because he's an iPhone Apple guy here.
You have the text on your phone too.
I have no phone. What did I say at the start of the game?
It's maybe 0-0, but the damage has been done.
Just say it louder. Say it louder. Say it with chest.
You said it might be 0-0, but the damage has been done. And maybe. I don't know if I agree with that because they did leave meat on the bones. They did leave runners in scoring position. It was a primary scoring opportunity.
But then
it worked out for them.
It worked out for them. He wasn't able to last and settle in. One, he's not able to settle into the game, and 2, you made him leave early in the game. He can't get a long start. He can't go 7-8 strong.
Yeah, he went 5 innings, 5 earned, 100 pitches. Did not have his A stuff. Wasn't locating the fastball. And to your point, he was relying on that changeup to get strikes. The slider didn't use it as much. Didn't use the curve as much. And Varsho ambushed him in the fourth. That 2-run home run tied it. 423-foot nuke to dead center. That was the first home run that Snell has allowed against a lefty all season. Varsho did not see a single fastball in his first at bat against Snell. And then he gets one, does not miss his opportunity. First pitch ties up the game. And, the Jays pulled Savage after that inning. After the fourth, they went to Fluharty ahead of Otani's at bat. And he had he got Otani to strike out. Betts got the single, and then Freeman flew out. And then they brought in Sir Anthony Dominguez, who had one pitch, one out against Will Smith. That's when you get to the inning where, Springer had the leadoff single, which Springer had a good game, but I do feel like he's still a little bit hobbled. The knee looked like it was bothering him a little bit.
You see the brace. He's wearing something on the knee because you can tell on telecast there's something within the sock. But
2 for 5 still.
Still, but let's just call it real, man. From the perspective of both teams, the Blue Jays played an incredible game. John Schneider has to be given utmost credit today for what he did. Pulling a Savage after 2, I felt if he kept the Savage in for more length, it could have gotten ugly for them, having him go a third time through the order. The bullpen did their job. He pushed the right buttons. I really agreed with him doing the decisions of pulling Bo Bichette for IKF for running purposes when he was walked in the 6th. And, he put Addison Barger to get the pinch hit grand slam, which is the first in World Series history.
We got to talk about the 6th.
The 6th just deserves its whole section. For the listeners that, just want to recap, Bo Bichette walks, and then you put in IKF as an offensive substitution for running purposes because, Bo Bichette's coming off that knee injury he suffered at Yankee Stadium, hasn't played in a while. Alejandro Kirk, I'm telling you, he manufactures at-bats, gets a single off of Snell. Dalton Varsho gets hit by a pitch. You can clearly see that Blake Snell was rattled after that single, and he was getting worked in the count with Dalton Varsho.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. That was a great at-bat by Varsho. Really battled, worked the 3-2 count, and Snell threw 9 pitches in that at-bat.
Yeah, Ernie Clement got a ground ball to once Emmett Shaheen came in, making it 3-2. Nathan Lucas gets pulled for Miles Straw. Lucas walks, and then that brings in a run, and then Andres Jimenez hits another single going station to station. George Springer gets a force out. Then you see Addison Barger come in, and the rest is history. You see your pinch hit grand slam. Again, the decision making from John Schneider tonight has to be given its flowers. You just hope for Blue Jays fans and for the series that you don't use all your luck on game 1. And you're doing what you're supposed to do, defending home field. And, right now, congratulations for all doom and gloom it is tonight for Dodgers fans. You just have to remember, you only have to steal 1 to win the series. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, if you defend home field advantage, if you defend your home field, you defend LA or you defend Toronto. If Toronto defends Toronto, they win 4-3. All LA has to do is win 1 on the road, and they'll be okay. But today, credit to John Schneider, Addison Barger hitting the homer, and you see the Alejandro Kirk with the other homer in the 6th, making 11-2. At that point, I literally texted you, Are we gonna see position players pitching tonight? Are we gonna see Kike Hernandez come out? But look, what I want to ask you is this more on the Blue Jays tonight, the Blue Jays hitting? Is this performance more on the Blue Jays hitting and taking advantage of bad Dodger pitching performance, or was it the Dodgers not executing pitching-wise? Blue Jays hitting or the Dodgers not hitting? Or Dodgers pitching not executing?
Snell wasn't his best, but a lot of these home runs were just bad pitches that caught too much of the zone, which obviously that's going to be most home runs. I don't know. I'd say it's a bit of both.
You got to pick one.
Come on, there is no right answer to this question.
I know, but you are the baseball guy here.
We're both baseball guys. We have a baseball.
I know, but you're the experienced one. You're the seasoned guy. You've been in the batter's box. That's what I'm saying. Is this more of a Dodgers not executing on pitches tonight and not getting it done, or is it the Blue Jays hitting, just grinding out at bats tonight?
Yeah. I think the story of this game, of game one, is the Blue Jays grinding at bats. It's the same Blue Jays lineup we've seen this whole postseason. They've only struck out 68 times in the postseason. That's less than the Brewers, Cubs, Tigers, all three teams that are in the Mariners, four teams that are eliminated at this point. They only struck out. How many times did they strike out tonight? They struck out 4 times tonight. And in the 6th inning, where they scored 9 runs, which is the 3rd most runs scored in an inning in World Series history, they faced 15 pitches from Dodgers pitching with 2 strikes and had 0 swings and misses. This was the story. And I was trying to tell Dodgers fans heading into the series that this is going to be the best lineup the Dodgers have faced this postseason. It's obviously better than the Reds and the Brewers, and it's better than the Phillies. They have a deeper lineup and have more guys that can grind you down and just give you very, very challenging at bats as a pitcher. This Blue Jays lineup is stacked, and it might not have the name brand guys that you're used to hearing, 1 through 9, whatever, but they got ball players. They have baseball players. John Schneider was talking about it in his in-game interview. They have baseball players. They have guys that play the game the right way, that have good at bats, that have great two-strike approaches, and they battle. And we saw this in game 1. I feel like a lot of Dodger fans and a lot of people in sports media were expecting the Dodgers to kind of just have a cakewalk in this series, win in 4 or 5, and they could still win in 5. It's just game 1, but man, I feel like this was a statement win from the Blue Jays tonight, and I think it's not going to be easy for the Dodgers because of the way this Blue Jays lineup just grinds you down, and they're so hard to get out. And every single at bat, it's 5, 6, 7 pitches because they just grind you down, man. So very impressed, obviously, with Toronto. The thing with the Dodgers is they got their best pitcher going tomorrow, in my opinion. And I think you would agree with me.
Yamamoto? Yeah,
yes.
100%. And I mean, you're giving your ball to your ace. The thing is, he has to go in and give you that. He has to give you a long start. I mean, to be honest with this format, I know they have the off day on Sunday, but you need a Yamamoto start after what happened tonight. It just has to happen. You don't want to use more high leverage guys. I think another thing that we didn't talk about is that Alex Vesia is away from the team and probably won't pitch during this World Series, and he's one of their big cogs out of the bullpen. So
sending our best wishes to him and his family. Seems like it's an urgent family matter, so we don't know the details, but I hope everything is okay.
I mean, the whole thing about it is this: we know that the Dodgers have starting pitching, and I mean Blake Snell was not good tonight, and that's fine, but there has to be some type of bridge that gets you to the 9th, the rookie, and today they did not execute at all. From the 5th inning, from the 6th inning onward to the 9th, there was just no execution. And, you give credit to Toronto. Could it be that Toronto's going off adrenaline? Potentially. Could it be that the Dodgers have a little bit of a hangover from last series? Possibly.
Yeah, there was that long break, and there was that interesting stat that they talked about a lot on the broadcast. The LCS sweep versus the 7-game LCS winners. They're now 0-5 in postseason in World Series game 1s. And those teams that actually 1-7 do better than the teams that sweep in the CS. So I don't know. Is that a bit of rust from the Dodgers? We'll see. The Dodgers didn't necessarily use any high leverage bullpen guys because it was pretty much over at that point. Going to Bonda there in that situation, I wonder if it would have been Vesia if he was on the roster or if he was with the team. The Blue Jays only really used 2 high leverage guys, and Flew Hardy, who's one of their better lefty relievers, and then Dominguez, who is definitely one of their high leverage guys. But then the game was over at that point. So they had a pretty much rested bullpen in this game. Bassett got another inning of work, and Lauer kind of had a rare postseason outing. I don't know. I mean, Gosman, you could make the argument he's Toronto's best pitcher. He probably is Toronto's best pitcher. He's going to game 2. So you kind of have a matchup in game 2 where it's the team's best pitchers going up against each other. To your point, like the Blue Jays kind of just held serve. I know this feels like kind of a surprising win for them. And a lot of people were picking the Dodgers to win in 4. Like I said, they're just taking care of business at home. The series doesn't start until a road team wins. I see the Dodgers with their best pitcher on the mound tomorrow. They can go out and win game 2, and then all of a sudden we're heading back to LA, and it's like it's Dodgers are still favored to win the series.
But so is Toronto. I think you can argue Toronto has their best pitcher going up tomorrow night with Kevin Gausman. So it's strength on strength, and it's going to come down to those lineups. Can that Dodger lineup wake up? Can the top of the order wake up? I understand that Otani had that home run, but that home run was like after everything had fallen. It's like the Chris Paul hit a three to cut the lead down to 38. Like, I'm going to need Otani to manufacture runs, get on base, and that top half of the order between Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Otani, they're going to have to, be those players. I mean, Mookie had some good defensive plays tonight, but, I mean, you can't strike out of those 3 guys. You can't strike out a collective of 4 times. You struck out a collective 4 times in 11 at-bats. That can't happen.
Yeah, Otani and Betts with 2 strikeouts, yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, Freddie Freeman got so close, and even John Smoltz said it on telecast that he missed that Flu Hardy pitch that he worked for, and it was I can't remember the count, but he missed that pitch, and it would have been a 2-run blast, and it would have been completely different. I mean, that back half of the order, and Kike is doing work, Tommy Edmonds manufacturing a little bit, but man, oh man, that top half of the order has to do something, and I'm telling you, Andy Pages still keeps getting at bats this postseason. I understand that he was great in the regular season, but at some point you're going to have to cut your losses, and you're going to have to do something to win ball games. Because right now, .77 in the postseason is not going to cut it. And they said that he's been working on mechanics on the telecast, and he's going to have to go out there and hit. But I mean, they're going to have to do something about it.
Yeah, he's been terrible. He's been terrible, and he's 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts tonight. 1 with the bases loaded. Let the team down. The Dodgers were 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position, which actually is not that bad.
But you had that, like I said, your Savage was struggling and wasn't locating the slider, and he didn't have the splitter. Even John Schneider said that the splitter, he didn't have a good feel for the splitter tonight, and that happens. That's as we say, that's just baseball. And, the slider, he gets a slider. Yeah, it was a really good pitch, but, I mean, you have to have some awareness. It's like I forgot which one, but it was a 3-0 count, and it was a Dodgers player. It's slipping who, but 3-0 count, Savage isn't throwing any strikes, and literally he goes on swing mode. He was auto swing. You have to show some type of discipline. Yes, there was some sort of plate discipline by a lot of players, but you have to know the situation from a hitter, and they got to produce. And it could be the difference of you being up 1-0 or the difference down 0-1. So,
yeah, Muncy, Kike, and Edmund all had hits. Smith with a hit, and Otani and Betts both had hits, but just 1 apiece. No one had no multi-hit games from the Dodgers, from any Dodger. They had 6 hits total, 6 walks, but they struck out 13 times, which is just not a recipe for success in the postseason compared to the Blue Jays 4. And that's kind of been a storyline with the Blue Jays this whole postseason, as they don't strike out. And if you look at team stats, Dodgers have the 2nd most strikeouts as a team in the postseason. And they're not hitting enough long balls to justify that many strikeouts. Right now, the Blue Jays lead the postseason with 23 home runs. Dodgers only have 14. So if you're striking out that much, you got to start hitting some home runs, and they're not right now. I know Otani hit the 1, but like you said, it was kind of in garbage time at that point. The Dodger bats, I think that's a big storyline in this series, is they got to wake up, man. They have not been there all series or all postseason, really. It's been the pitching that's carried them. And if the pitching is not going to dominate the way it did against the National League. I mean, 11 runs is basically more than the Dodgers gave up in the whole National League.
Yeah. Right? And clearly, you're not facing lineups like the Brewers or the Reds that don't strike fear 1 through 9. I mean, again, I don't want to keep saying the buzzword of this series. I feel like if everybody had a shot glass right now and you would hear the word grinders and ball players, I feel people would be heading to the ER and getting their stomach pumps at this point. But it's
true.
It's true. It's grinders. And I mean, I don't I think and I don't want to just keep bringing up, teams that are eliminated, but I feel like there's a value of putting the ball in play. And I feel like the Blue Jays really value putting the ball in play. That's what we're seeing this series. Like, good things happen when you put the ball in play. It's kind of like, you're always taught, when you're growing up, like, oh, go shoot your shot, go shoot your shot. You never know what's going to happen. If you shoot your shot, there's a chance that, hey, she could say yes. That's the same thing as putting the ball in play. You put the ball in play, maybe the first baseman fumbles the ball, or there's a problem with the transfer from the second or shortstop, and you get on base and you can start manufacturing some runs and building up some momentum. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, agree. I think we've moved away from the three true outcomes approach a little bit. And if the Blue Jays do win this World Series, it might change the way teams approach the game, because they are definitely a team that's based on contact, hit the ball, putting it in play, great two-strike approach, changing their approach for two-strike counts, which a lot of teams just don't do. I mean, the series I think the odds are even now.
I mean, let's just look at, like, that you bring up a good point. I mean, the Blue Jays are so constructed, like, we're so used to mashers. Like, I mean, the Yankees, when they got to the postseason, they were a team of mashers. And you look at teams in the past. Last year, the Dodgers won. The year before that, it was the Rangers. They had Adolis Garcia and just big bats. They had I think they had Jock Peterson that year, if I remember. But they had Marcus Semien, who hit 29 home runs. They had Corey Seager, who hit 30 home runs. They hit the ball a lot. They had Jonah Heim, like extra base hit guys, mashers. There hasn't been a team in recent history. I mean, before that, it was Houston, then Atlanta, then LA, of just teams that just manufacture runs off just like putting the ball in play and just going station to station, as we saw in the sixth inning before Addison Barger pinched it and went nuclear.
You do. You do. There is value in the contact game and putting the ball in play, but you have to hit the long ball to win in the postseason. I think it's 3 out of the last 4 or 3 out of the last 5 World Series winners have led the postseason in home runs, and the Blue Jays are doing it right now. Like I said earlier, they've hit 23 home runs in the postseason, leading all of baseball. Like, yes, there is value in grinding at bats and getting singles, but it's a lot harder to string 3 hits together in a row in the postseason than it is to just have one swing that, the ball goes over the fence. So the Blue Jays are doing the perfect job of blending those two things together right now, which is obviously leading to success on the field. They're grinding at bats. They're getting, bloop singles and little flubber singles the opposite field, and they're also hitting the long ball. So it's a recipe for success. They're also getting great pitching right now too. Savage didn't have his A stuff last night, but he grinded through 4 innings, and then the bullpen took over and was flawless. They did their job. The only one was the Otani meaningless home run when the game was over, essentially at that point. So everything's going right for this team. It's crazy because heading into I should go watch our preseason.
We were so down on this game.
I think everybody was. Yeah.
No, but it's just like, look, and this is no offense to the guys, they don't have household names. And I think this is a story America can get behind. Like, when you look at the players that make up the team, okay, you have the one superstar, true superstar, in Vladimir Guerrero. You have a guy in George Springer who, I don't want to say he's a star, but he's a very respected, very good veteran player that's been there before. And then they have a bunch of guys that, that nobody knows about. And, they're getting put on this stage and they're producing at such a level. And, like, if you're not a true ball head, like, that you're actually, like, into baseball, you wouldn't know. For example, Nathan Lucas, 31 years old, made his MLB debut in 2023. So he was 29. He was in the Cleveland Indians system, the Rays system, and then he signed a minor league contract in 2021 with the Toronto Blue Jays. Ernie Clement, another one. He was another guy in the Cleveland Guardian system who was selected in the 4th round of the 2017 MLB draft, was claimed off waivers off the Oakland A's, and then signed a minor league contract in 2023, and he played in 2023 with the AAA Buffalo Bisons. And then Addison Barger. I mean, Addison Barger, he's been a StatCast darling. He was a guy, 25 years old, and he was drafted in 2018 of the draft, in the MLB draft, and he got promoted in 2024. So there's a bunch of these guys that that America doesn't know about. And I feel it's a story that that they can get behind, because you have one team that is elite, and then another team that is just a bunch of just guys.
Yeah, I agreed. If you look at Clement's numbers in the postseason, it gets crazier and crazier. He's played 12 games, 435 batting average with a 1058 OPS. He's been their unsung hero, 7 multi-hit games in the postseason, which ties a franchise record. Even Andres Jimenez, 262 batting average in 12 games. We talked about Bichette comes in game 1, gets the single, 2-hit night for him. Kirk's had a great postseason, 903 OPS. We do not tolerate any Alejandro Kirk disrespect on this podcast. And obviously Vlad, 447 with a 1.412 OPS and 6 home runs in the postseason. He's been elite. They're getting production from 1 through 9 in that lineup, and there's a reason that they are 3 games away from winning the World Series. Now, like we said earlier, they're facing, in our opinion, the Dodgers' best pitcher tomorrow. Now, some stats, though. Teams to win game 1 of any best of 7 postseason series have gone on to win that series 127 out of 196 times. That is 64.8%. In series with the current 2-3-2 format, teams winning game 1 at home have gone on to take that series 69 out of 102 times, which is 67.6%. So odds are obviously in Toronto's favor after holding serve, winning game 1 at home. Dodgers, they are now 1-11 in World Series game 1s on the road. I thought that was an interesting stat. They struggle for whatever reason when they don't have home field advantage. They lose these games on the road. But I think we do have to emphasize, for as exciting as a win as this was for the Blue Jays, and man, they look good right now, it's still only 1 game. They got to win 3 more. Very challenging thing to do against the Dodgers in the postseason. The Dodgers had only lost 1 playoff game before this series. So a lot of baseball left to be played.
This is the equivalent of the Monstars versus Michael Jordan's Space Jam. But Toronto does spend money. Let's keep in mind.
They do.
Anthony Santander is sitting on their IL for the postseason. Anthony Santander and Jose Barrios. So, but I mean, got to give credit to Toronto.
Yeah, they had 5th in payroll this year. I think they were at like 252. So yeah, they're not the Tampa Bay Rays out there. They're not the Pittsburgh Pirates. They're not the little engine that could. 258 was their payroll this year. So their highest paid guy is Vlad. Obviously, he's on a $500 million contract. But Springer's making 24 a year. It's a lot. And yeah,
they got to pay a little more because they're in Canada. Canadian taxes and getting players to go up to Canada isn't easy. You're getting American players and just players in general just to go up to Canada. It's a little bit difficult. We've seen it in other leagues, and there's that tax that you go play up there.
What were your thoughts on the Jays fans chanting, "We don't need him" in Otani's last at bat of the game?
I mean, they wouldn't be chanting that if he was on their team, if he would have signed that contract.
Obviously.
I
feel like they might regret that.
I feel like, Otani, other than that 1 game and other than that 3 that he, that homer he hit in the 7th, hasn't been so great in the postseason. So I mean, hey, he's only getting paid $2 million a year. So
Otani's been pretty boomer bust in this postseason.
He's only getting paid $2 million a year, William.
6 home runs in October, but he only has a 222 average. So his OPS is over 1,000 because of the home runs, but it's not much else. No doubles. He does have the 1 triple, 10 hits, 6 of them are home runs, 19 strikeouts. Like, he's been really good hitting home runs. The power's been there, but it's pretty much been home run or nothing else for Otani in the postseason. I think that's something to watch. We talked about the top of the order. Top of the order's got to start to step up for this Dodgers team. Otani, a lot of these Otani at bats have been pretty uncompetitive. And I know he homered tonight, like he had a freaking home run, but it's very like boomer bust with him right now.
They have Jolie Galloway at home for $2 million.
Okay. I mean, he won the MVP of the NLCS in one game, which is crazy.
One game. And I mean, what I think is going to get crazy is that, did you see the Silver Sluggers list? I don't want to step on that too much, but do you see the Silver Award finalists?
Yeah, I didn't look that closely.
So Otani's a finalist and Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber is absolutely going to get robbed of one of his best seasons in his career because a guy like Shohei Otani exists in the regular season for
Well,
DH.
should we do the the comparison of
I know I understand, but it's just like in any other league and any other position, like Kyle Schwarber would be, barring probably outfield, but there's multiple outfield spots because Aaron Judge exists, barring any in catcher, like Kyle Schwarber would be a Silver Slugger, and that's what I'm saying. I know Shohei had a great season, but it's like Kyle Schwarber's absolutely getting robbed.
I'm pulling up the comps.
The comps, yeah, no, but just think about it.
So Schwarber,
he was on your fantasy team this year.
Yeah, he was. Schwarber had more home runs and ribbies. Otani was better in everything else: stolen bases, batting average, OBP, slug, OPS, OPS plus. I don't know if it'd be a home run robbery. I don't know if it'd be highway robbery.
It's not robbery, but I'm saying is Shohei Otani is 101. You're not getting the argument here. He's 101, and Kyle Schwarber is getting robbed of one of the better seasons as a DH. He's getting robbed because Shohei Otani exists, and I understand like that's just baseball, but
you're just more saying that he's unfortunate to live in the era of Shohei Otani,
and that he's getting qualified as a DH.
Well, he is a DH.
I know, but it's just like I feel like Kyle Schwarber should be a Silver Slugger. You see what I'm saying?
No. Like you're saying that he's unlucky for not winning because he lives in an era of Shohei Otani.
And he would win, and he would win in every other, like we would win in most other positions.
Okay, I'm looking at it now. He played like 8 games in left field this year. Otherwise, he was DHing.
But that's what I'm saying. If he was qualified as any other position, he would be considered a
late night.
It is late night, but he would be considered any other. He would be a Silver Slugger.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're like, oh, boo hoo. No, I fully endorse Shohei Otani, the $2 million player, but but like, it's just unfortunate. I mean, look, game 1 ended. Hats off to the Blue Jays. Hopefully tomorrow they didn't waste all their luck today, and tomorrow's a whole new day. You know, somebody can wake up on a different side of a bed. Things can happen in the world. Things happen every single day. So
things do happen every single day.
So tomorrow we got Kevin Gausman going on the hill versus Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and I'm taking the Dodgers tomorrow.
I think the Dodgers win tomorrow too, but the Blue Jays have been proving people wrong the whole postseason, my friend. So I'm not writing them off.
And that's baseball.
It is. These games are awesome. If you don't love the World Series, you're not a baseball fan. I don't understand these baseball fans that don't tune into the World Series. I mean, it's the highest, it's the pinnacle of the sport. What more could you want?
I mean, you see homers, you see singles, doubles, you see strikeouts, and you see base running blunders like we saw tonight.
And we saw 2 base running blunders tonight.
What do you think's the bigger one? The Freddie Freeman one or the
Clement, because they scored on the Freeman one. Clement, it was the last out of the inning at third. He never supposed to do that.
In the words of William Locke, Book of Locke, locked in baseball, 7-17, never make the last out at third base.
Yes, that is one of the very few, or one of the very earliest things they teach you in baseball.
Never get the last out at third base. But I mean, hey, tomorrow 8:00 p.m., 5 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 6 p.m. Mountain. We will be ready to go. We will be back live, hopefully. We will be live tomorrow after the game. Hopefully it's a little earlier, not a little later. I mean, who knows, man?
I don't know, man.
It's baseball. Could you imagine if we had to do if we were live after Seattle, Detroit?
I was thinking about that. We might just have to push it to the next day if one of these games goes super late.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah. If the game ends at 2 a.m., we can just move it to Saturday or Sunday.
You don't want a pod? What do you mean?
The next, I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have the energy in the tank.
Oh, so what do you mean? You got to be Walker Buehler. You got to be ready to pitch. You got to be ready to get out of the bullpen 3 days in a row if need be. and
True.
hey, we're not throwing 100, we're not throwing 100 pitches or 90 pitches. We're throwing a good 40 or 50 a night right now.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well,
So,
we'll wrap it there. 40 minutes. Fun game one. Can't wait for game two. Luis, any final thoughts?
I mean, it's a great series. I mean, Blue Jays really surprised us, and like I said, they're grinders. They're baseball players.
Indeed. All righty. That's all we got. Thank you guys for tuning in. Blue Jays win game one, 11-4. We will be back tomorrow for our game two recap. Until then, catch you next time. Peace out.